In the far north of Japan, where winters are long and silence rules the mountains, a legend was born. A dog forged in frost, tempered by loyalty, and destined to become a symbol of unshakable devotion. That dog was the Akita. Long before the world called it American, long before it guarded homes across oceans, it walked among the hunters and warriors of ancient Japan. In the snowy province of Akita Prefecture, this breed lived not for comfort, but for purpose. It was bred to track bears, guard families, and protect villages, a creature of strength and stillness, molded by the land itself. The Akita's world was harsh, mountains veiled in mist, forests dense with danger, and temperatures that bit through bone. Only the strongest survived, and only the most loyal endured. And so, over generations, the Akita became more than a hunter. It became a guardian. Its eyes were sharp, its movements deliberate, its loyalty absolute. But what made it extraordinary was not its body, it was its soul. A quiet strength radiated from it, like the calm before a storm. It didn't bark to threaten, it didn't boast its power, it knew its place and its purpose: to protect, to serve, to stay. In feudal Japan, that spirit found its reflection in the samurai. These noble warriors saw in the Akita what they valued most: courage without cruelty, honor without arrogance, loyalty without question. The Akita became their mirror, a four-legged embodiment of Bushido, the way of the warrior. And from that bond was born a legend that would stretch across centuries. They stood guard at castles, they marched beside soldiers, they watched over sleeping families while the world outside burned with conflict. In time, they became symbols of nobility, gifts of honor reserved only for the brave and the powerful. Owning one was not a privilege, it was a mark of respect. But despite their regal presence, the Akita was not a creature of pride. Its heart remained humble, its loyalty remained pure. It didn't love for reward, it loved because it could not do otherwise. And in that quiet devotion lay the seed of the most powerful story ever told about this breed. A story that would travel the world, carried not by words, but by tears. Because centuries later, from those same snowy mountains, would come Hachiko, an Akita who waited for his master every day at Shibuya Station, long after the man had passed away. For 9 years, through rain, snow, and sun, he waited, not because he understood death, but because his heart refused to forget love. Hachiko was not unique among Akitas. He was simply the one the world saw. For the truth is this: every Akita carries that same spirit, a loyalty that does not break, even when the world does. That's what defines the breed. Not its power, not its beauty, but its faithfulness beyond reason. It's a devotion that feels ancient, almost sacred, as if the bond between human and dog was written somewhere deeper than time itself. When Japan changed, when wars came and modernity rose, the Akita remained the same. Still calm, still proud, still loyal. It was a dog that asked for nothing, yet gave everything. And that silence, that steady gaze, that quiet strength, would one day cross oceans. Because across the Pacific, another world was waiting, one that would see in this snow-born guardian something familiar, something it, too, understood. Courage, honor, loyalty. The same virtues that built warriors would soon build a bond between nations. The Akita would leave its frozen homeland and find new purpose on new soil. It would evolve, stronger, larger, more commanding, yet never lose its soul. That's how the American Akita was born, a dog of two worlds, carrying the spirit of the East and the strength of the West. And though its body changed, its heart never did. From the snows of Japan to the cities of America, the Akita's mission remained the same: to protect those it loves and to stand by them, even when standing alone. In the age of the samurai, honor was life, and loyalty was sacred. Men lived by a code called Bushido, the way of the warrior. It demanded courage without fear, humility without weakness, and devotion that outlived death. The Akita was born for that world. While other dogs barked at shadows, the Akita stood in silence, its gaze steady, its presence commanding. It didn't need to prove itself. It was proof of discipline, loyalty, and quiet power. To the samurai, the Akita was more than a companion. It was a reflection of their soul. It moved with the same stillness they trained to master. It fought with the same calm intensity they carried into battle, and like them, it would rather die than betray its duty. Stories from Japan's feudal past tell of Akitas that stood guard through storms, refusing to abandon fallen masters, of dogs that faced wild boars and bears to protect their homes, of guardians who endured hunger, cold, and pain, never running, never breaking. That was the Akita way. Not loud, not boastful, but absolute. Every gesture it made carried purpose. Every silence held meaning. Every moment beside its master was an oath, invisible but unbreakable. In those times, owning an Akita was not simply a matter of status. It was a symbol of trust between human and spirit. The samurai believed that only those with a pure heart could earn the loyalty of such a dog. And when they did, the bond went beyond this life. When a samurai went to war, his Akita often followed, not as a weapon, but as a guardian of his honor. When he died, the dog would stand beside his grave, refusing food or comfort. Not out of despair, but out of duty. For the Akita, love is not a feeling. It is a vow. Even today, that ancient discipline still lives in its blood. Watch an Akita move, and you'll see it, the precision of every step, the calm restraint before action. It is not impulsive. It is deliberate. It doesn't seek attention or chaos. It seeks meaning. It observes before reacting, weighs before acting, and commits fully once it decides. That's why those who live with an Akita often say it feels more like a guardian spirit than a dog. Because when it looks at you, it doesn't just see, it understands. It studies your every habit, your moods, your energy. It learns your patterns not from command, but from connection. And once it decides that you are its person, there is no undoing it. No time, no distance, no loss can break that bond. The Akita doesn't just protect you from the world, it protects your dignity. It watches quietly, acts precisely, and forgives completely. It will never compete for your affection. It doesn't need to. It knows where it stands, beside you, always. And that quiet confidence is what makes it both powerful and misunderstood. Those who mistake its calmness for indifference do not understand its nature. For the Akita does not express love in noise, it expresses it in presence. To an Akita, love means being there, unseen, unwavering, eternal. That's why its bond with a family is sacred. It will play, it will protect, it will even endure the chaos of human life, but always with dignity. It is gentle with children, patient with elders, cautious with strangers, because it carries within it a sense of balance, the same harmony the samurai sought within themselves. Courage, discipline, loyalty, all bound together in one silent heartbeat. And that's why, even centuries later, people still look into its eyes and feel something ancient staring back, something noble, something timeless. The Akita does not belong to one era or one country. It belongs to the idea of honor itself. Every generation that meets it, every person who earns its trust, inherits a piece of that spirit, a reminder that love is strongest when it doesn't have to speak. The American Akita, descended from this legacy, still carries that samurai calm. Behind its broad chest and deep eyes lies a history of warriors, of loyalty sealed by silence. It may live in modern homes now, but its soul still stands on the snowy battlefields of the past. Waiting, watching, ready. Because for the Akita, the battle for loyalty never ends. And victory has always meant the same thing: to stand by the ones it loves, until the very end. The 20th century came with thunder, a storm of change that swept across the world and did not spare even the most noble of creatures. When war consumed Japan, the Akita, once a symbol of honor and loyalty, faced extinction. Food was scarce, resources were seized, and dogs, once beloved companions, became victims of necessity and survival. The government ordered all non-military dogs to be confiscated. Their fur was used to line soldiers' coats, their meat fed starving civilians. Only a few breeds were spared, those considered essential for the war effort, like the German shepherds trained for patrol and communication. The Akita was not among them. Families wept as they handed over their companions, some by law, others by force. But not everyone obeyed. In the quiet corners of Japan, there were people who refused to surrender their dogs. They hid them in mountains, disguised them as shepherds, bred them in secret. These were not acts of defiance, they were acts of love, small rebellions born from loyalty. Among these hidden dogs, a transformation began. To protect them from being taken, some breeders crossed Akitas with German shepherds, giving them a slightly different look, more robust, more rugged, with sharper ears and darker coats. It was a desperate attempt to save a dying lineage. And it worked. When the war ended, Japan lay in ruins. Cities were ash and memory. But in remote regions, a few Akitas had survived. Guardians of an ancient spirit, standing quietly amid the silence of loss. They were different now, stronger, heavier, more powerful. Their blood carried both their own history and the genes of the dogs they had been disguised as. They were not pure, but they were alive. From that survival came a second birth. The Akita had evolved, not just in body, but in spirit. It had endured famine, fear, and human cruelty, and still remained loyal. It had lost everything, and yet it had kept its dignity. After the war, American soldiers stationed in Japan began to notice these noble dogs. They were drawn to their strength, their intelligence, their calm pride. But most of all, they were moved by their loyalty, a quality rare in a world recovering from betrayal. Some soldiers brought them home to the United States, and from those few dogs, a new chapter began. In America, the Akita found new purpose. It adapted, broader, sturdier, more powerful than its Japanese ancestors. Its stance grew bolder, its expression more confident. Yet its heart remained the same patience, the same dignity, the same unwavering devotion. Over time, the American Akita and the Japanese Akita Inu followed different paths. In Japan, breeders worked to preserve the smaller, fox-like appearance, elegant, traditional, delicate. In America, breeders embraced the larger frame and bolder features, a dog built for protection as much as companionship. 2 branches, 1 soul, 2 appearances, 1 legacy. Both descended from survivors, both carrying the same code written in their hearts: never abandon, never betray, always protect. The American Akita became a living symbol of endurance, a reminder that even when stripped of everything, loyalty can still rebuild what was lost. Its gaze seemed to hold memory of snow, of battle, of love that waited through death itself. And that memory resonated deeply with those who met it, because in the Akita's silence, people saw reflection, the same resilience that had carried humanity through its own darkest hour. It became not just a dog, but a monument to devotion. Every Akita standing in a modern home carries that invisible history, the story of a breed that was nearly erased, yet refused to disappear. A breed that endured war without hatred, loss without surrender, and separation without forgetting. That's what makes the Akita more than an animal. It's a soul with memory, a relic of honor that continues to walk among us. The American Akita, reborn from those ashes, became larger not only in body but in spirit. It carried the pride of the samurai and the forgiveness of survival. It didn't just adapt to a new world, it brought with it the lessons of the old. That no matter how deep the silence, loyalty still echoes. And no matter how long the winter, love still returns. Across the Pacific, the Akita found a new world, louder, faster, restless. And yet, within that world of constant motion, it carried stillness. The same calm that had defined its ancestors became its greatest strength. In America, it stood out immediately. Broad-shouldered, thick-furred, eyes steady as stone, a creature that looked carved rather than bred. People saw power first, but those who spent time with it discovered something far greater: control. Because the American Akita does not waste energy. Every movement is deliberate, every glance considered. It is a guardian that protects not by fear, but by presence. When it walks beside its owner, the ground itself seems to acknowledge it. When it stands still, silence follows. This is not arrogance, it's confidence born of purpose. American breeders refined the Akita's physical form, but what truly flourished on Western soil was its spirit of independence. It became a dog that could adapt to families, guard estates, and yet retain the pride of its heritage. It learned to navigate the modern world without surrendering its dignity. In a country that valued freedom, the Akita embodied disciplined liberty. It followed commands not out of submission, but understanding. It protected homes not out of instinct, but devotion. Owners quickly learned that this was not a breed to control, it was a breed to partner. The Akita would give everything to the one who earned its trust, but never to those who demanded it. Respect had to flow both ways. That balance became the essence of the American spirit within the breed. Strength tempered by restraint, courage softened by compassion. Families discovered that beneath the formidable frame was a gentle guardian. Children played beneath its watchful eyes, its massive head resting patiently as tiny hands tugged its fur. At night, it moved through the house like a silent sentinel, checking rooms, listening for what didn't belong. It didn't bark at every sound, only at the right ones. Because an Akita doesn't speak often, but when it does, you listen. Its devotion is quiet but complete. It senses tension, steps closer. It reads fear, stands taller. It doesn't just guard walls, it guards hearts, and though its loyalty is singular, its love is deep. To earn it is to be chosen. To lose it is to feel absence louder than any noise. In the West, some misunderstood that seriousness for aloofness, but those who understood saw what it truly was: discipline wrapped in affection. The Akita's love doesn't seek attention, it offers protection. It became a dog for those who valued depth over display, substance over speed, loyalty over popularity. Its very silence became its language, one that spoke of confidence, respect, and timeless strength. Today, the American Akita stands as one of the most majestic guardians in the world. It's not built for everyone, because not everyone can match its soul. It asks for clarity, structure, and calm leadership. Give it that, and you gain not a pet, but a presence, a living embodiment of devotion forged through centuries. Look into its eyes, and you'll see both worlds staring back: the snowy stillness of Japan and the bold horizon of America. East and West, warrior and companion, power and peace. That is the paradox of the Akita, a dog that carries history like armor and love like a sword. The American Akita stands in silence. Snow falls around it, soft and endless. Its breath forms clouds in the cold air, steady, patient, unafraid. It does not need words to tell its story. Its story is written in the way it waits, the way it watches, the way it loves without asking for anything in return. For centuries, the Akita has lived by one law: loyalty above all else. That loyalty is not fragile, not fleeting, not conditional. It endures when the world changes, when distance grows, even when life itself ends. That's why, long after kings have fallen and wars have faded, the Akita's legend remains. Because loyalty, real loyalty, never dies. We saw it in Hachiko, who waited at Shibuya Station every evening for 9 long years, unaware that his master was gone. He waited through rain, through winter, through seasons that turned and turned again. Every day, the same spot. Every night, the same hope. And though the world saw sadness, what Hachiko carried was something purer, the soul of the Akita itself, a love so complete it outlived time. That same spirit lives in every Akita today. When it looks at you, it doesn't just see your face, it memorizes your being. When it walks beside you, it's not simply following, it's standing guard. And when you leave, a part of it waits, no matter how long it takes. It doesn't forget, it doesn't give up, it simply believes, with the quiet certainty of something eternal. The Akita teaches us something the modern world has forgotten, that loyalty is not a transaction. It's a truth you live by. It doesn't measure affection in gestures. It measures it in presence, in the choice to stay when others leave, in the silence that says, "I am here." The American Akita, with its broad chest and unshakable calm, is more than a guardian of the home. It is a guardian of the human heart. It reminds us that love, when pure, does not demand or falter, it endures. Generations have changed, but the Akita's code has not. It still values honor over impulse, loyalty over convenience, courage over comfort. It still stands as the bridge between humanity and something ancient, the kind of devotion that does not need to be understood, only respected. And that's why those who have shared their lives with one know a feeling like no other, a quiet companionship that feels almost spiritual. Because the Akita does not love lightly. When it chooses you, it's forever. Even after it's gone, its presence lingers in the stillness of a room, in the echo of footsteps it once followed, in the invisible warmth that seems to remain near the door. Every Akita leaves behind a shadow, not of sadness, but of loyalty fulfilled. A legacy that whispers, "I kept my promise." And in that, the breed achieves what so few beings ever do: immortality through love. So when you see one standing proud, coat glinting in the light, eyes calm as ancient stone, know this: you are looking at a creature that carries the weight of history and the gentleness of eternity. The American Akita is not just a dog. It is a symbol of honor that doesn't fade, of loyalty that doesn't end, of love that does not need words to be believed. And that is why, long after the world has forgotten the names of men, it will still remember the Akita, the silent guardian who stood watch when all others turned away. Because loyalty, once given from an Akita's heart, is not a moment. It is forever.